Hello and welcome to Workout Wednesday for Power BI 2022 Week 48. My name is Megan Longoria and I will be taking you through the solution for our Conditional SVG Measures Challenge. So here is what we are making, is a simple report that actually has no real data in it other than some text and these images, which are our SVG images. You can open them, and if you click on one of them, it'll take you to a link because I've made the SVGs clickable. So on the day that is labeled above the envelope, this image will change to another image. So I put in a cheat so that it's easier to demonstrate here. So I've used logic in an SVG measure to determine when the SVG image should change from the closed envelope to one of these open holiday cards. And now if I click on the holiday card, it will link to the challenge for the date above it. As I'm doing this video, those challenges are not posted. You can see if I click it, it's going to navigate to the URL. Same for all of these. So the requirements for this challenge are to use 4 visuals that are populated by SVG measures. You can pick whatever theme you would like. You can use whatever images you would like. Just use something other than a matrix to show your images. I used a custom visual that I'll show you in just a second. And then make the SVG change like I demonstrated for mine. It's actually based on the date or that slicer that I showed you. Change on some condition. And then make at least one of them, I made all of mine, clickable. Okay, I'm starting from my blank Power BI report, no data loaded. And I'm just adding a blank table using DAX because all of my data is going to be measures. And the first thing I have to do is create the measures for my SVGs. If you've done this before, you probably know you have to add the data image tag at the beginning, but I'm going to use a custom visual called HTML content from Daniel Marsh Patrick, and it actually accepts the SVGs without that addition at the beginning. So mine might look slightly different than if you were doing this in a table or matrix. So the first thing we have to do is get some images, which I have. And if you open up those images using a text editor of some kind or VS Code, whatever you'd like, I tend to do Notepad++. You can see the code that makes up the SVG image. When you copy this into Power BI, you only need from the SVG tag down, so if you have like this Illustrator stuff, we don't need any of that. And we need to do one thing. Right now, it's using double quotes for everything, but we're going to put it in double quotes. So we're going to replace double quotes with single quotes. We've had 62 occurrences. So that's going to give me what I need to put in Power BI. and I surround the whole thing in double quotes. So we can test that real quick, and we see that the image comes through just fine. It's not clickable yet though. So we have to add our own href link in there. And I put mine at the very beginning. So I might do something like a link to Workout Wednesday. And again, it's going to use single quotes because we're inside a double quotes, so we have to accommodate that in our DAX. And then we need to close that tag with the A at the bottom. And then we're good. So if I go back to my image, it won't be clickable yet. You'll notice it doesn't do anything. That's because there is a setting on this custom visual to allow opening URLs. Now when I click it, it's going to try to navigate out. So we have to do the same thing for our 4 other SVG images. So again, I'm going to do one more and then I'll copy paste the rest because it's not very exciting. You go and get your image, you open it in something like Notepad++ or Visual Studio Code. You grab it, copy it, and find and replace all your double quotes with single quotes. We don't need those top 2 lines. And then we add in our URL and our closing tag. Again, all single quotes. Copy that and paste it into a measure in Power BI. This one I called tree card, surrounded in double quotes. Again, it's going to go into another HTML viewer. This isn't really the final measure that's going to go in there, but just so that we can see that it works. So there's that. So I need to make the measures for my other cards. And I use the same process for those. All right, there's my 5 different cards. I'll remove that for a second. Then I have to come up with my logic. I did that hidden slicer on the other page. And I did that by entering data for a table that I called reveal. And then I did true, false. Make sure it gets the right data types in here. Yep, it's a true false data type. So that puts my table into the model. I went to my second page and I added a slicer and I called it secret reveal because this is our cheat to help us test. I made it single select, make it a little smaller, and I put it down at the bottom. We're going to copy paste that and sync it here. And we're going to view our sync slicers pane. So they're synced, but I don't want it to show up on page 1. So I can make it invisible. And I'm just going to drag it up to the top right. So it's still there. It's just invisible on the first page. So now that I have that, I can write my conditions. So I had one measure per visual. And this is what I did. So I defined the date that I am looking for. So this envelope will not open until December 7th, 2022. And then I tested it and I said, if today is greater than or equal to December 7th, 2022, or the reveal selection is true from my slicer, so that's going to return either true, and I should show the tree card, or false, and then I should show the closed envelope. So I'm just returning one of these measures that I've already defined. So that's my December 7th measure. And we can test that. So right now it's still showing the closed envelope. But if we hit our secret switch, now we have a tree. So if we do 4 of those, and then we finish making our measures for each date. So December 14th follows the same pattern. We're going to test the date and say, is today greater than or equal to, in this case, December 14th? Or is our slicer set to true? Either of those is true, show me a holly card. If not, show me the closed envelope. December 21st, same thing, except if it's true, show me the snowflake card, and then if it's false, closed envelope. And December 28th. Same thing, except the date is the December 28th, and if it's true, show star card. So now I can go back and populate each one with its own measure, and go try the secret switch. We've got 4 different cards. And the rest is really mostly formatting. So I'm going to add a background image. that I got from Unsplash. Make it fit. Oh, I forgot to change my theme. I customized my theme so that my visuals would have no background. My text would all be Georgia. This is one of the few times that I have used a serif font, but due to the small amount of text, that's really more in sentence form than having to read a lot. I think it's okay. The font is still pretty clear to read. There we go. Yeah, I usually have that turned off while I'm working because of the propensity to try to navigate. So you just align these a little better, spread them out. And I made these about 200 by 171, so they're a little bigger. Then I can align them and get them mildly close, and then I'll use format. There we go. Add some nice text, some explanation for your users about what they should expect. Turn on the title for this so that we can put the dates in there. And then because of the images that I used, some of the SVG images required attribution. They were free to use, but we needed to put the link back to them. So that's on my second page, and then you can also find the link to my background image here too. And I added the button with the action for page navigation to page 2, which I'm going to rename image credits. The holidays, and there we go. So again, right now, this image takes me to the Power BI challenges page. If I change the condition, this image will take me to that week's workout. You can link to whatever you want. It doesn't have to be these workouts. It can be anything data viz related. Before you call it good, make sure you've done all your design checks, your accessibility checks, include alt text on all your visuals, set the tab order, make sure you have good color contrast, all of that fun stuff. And that's it for this week's Workout Wednesday for Power BI. Thanks for watching.